Hello and welcome to Naval Action. This is VMAQ2 Dead X. It's Thursday, April 17th, around 11 in the morning, East Coast America time. Online is 976. There's 180 battles. There was a small patch. Admiralty Speaker yesterday notified that raiders will start attacking this weekend. So if you're in a clan and you have a port, get ready. The raiders are coming. This morning, captains, small fix deployed. Number one, fixed PvE server hostility missions visibility to start RVR. We will tune the hostility mission NPCs and loot in one of the next small patches. Number two, increased balloon max climb ceiling to 4,000 meters to avoid getting stuck in high mountains. That's hilarious. Number three, minor fix of conquest flag distance. Reduced number of additional ports allowed for placement from 3 top nations to 1 top nation. Because 3 top nation is an irrelevant number. Then there was another little note. Current bot distribution. We will fix some areas and redistribute more evenly. The total number, 2,200 ships, which is 200 traders and 2,000 military. And they have the map. You're going to have to go on the Discord to look at that, where they show the concentrations of the bots. So that's the updates. Okay, I have a question from a viewer from Joto2571. Hey bro, thanks for the videos and updates. Could you make a video of the new boarding mechanics to clarify any doubts? Now that the server's difficulty level is higher than ever, boarding ships is more important than ever. Thanks for videos. Keep doing this great. Support material. Thanks. And then like a salute emoji guy. Okay, my first reaction when reading this is, hasn't this guy been watching my videos? I suck at boarding. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. But first things first. The viewer hereby continuing to watch this video hereby releases the creator, VMAQ2 DeadX, of any liability for loss of crew, ship, and equipment on that ship due to loss during a boarding action. The viewer is hereby notified that VMAQ2 DeadX sucks at boarding. Thank you. All right, here we are back. And boarding. That's a tough one for me because I'm not really good at it. And like a quick history is the developers basically are letting us win the boarding. They can adjust the settings to make it almost virtually impossible to win if they want. And so like in the past, the AI boarding mechanics, like they had a set routine that they would always follow in the battle. And as long as you knew where you were in that set routine, you could automatically pick the correct response to win the boarding action. And since this new wipe, like in the test server, what I found is that the AI loved to counterattack. It was always like counterattack, counterattack, counterattack. And it seemed odd to me. You know, before they had a set pattern. They would do one thing, then the next thing, then they would brace, then they would brace, then they would do one thing, then the next thing. It was like a certain pattern they would follow. So if you knew that, you were good. Now it was always counterattack. But what happens after the wipe when cannon cost and powder costs and all that stuff was such a problem for people, they started taking out, these guys that had like, high ranks and a large number of crew would just like get a redeemable ship, crew it with no cannons, go out, sail onto the open world, and attack ships that were less crewed than them and just outlast them through the boarding process. And then they would take the boarded ship, bring it back to port, strip the cannons off, sell them, sell the ship. They would get the dubs. There were dubs on the ship for, winning and whatever other products, and they would sell that, keep it, do whatever. So they were making like a huge profit, and it wasn't really costing them anything but like crew cost. You'd have to replenish your crew. And, the devs got wind of that, and then they altered the settings, the soft settings of the boarding, and made it a lot harder. Well, they didn't just make it harder for those guys who are going out with these overcrewed ships and tagging fifth rates. They made it hard for everybody. So now the guy that's in the traders links with only 34 guys to his name is he has to face the same mechanics that the guy in the victory is facing with 1,000 people. And so that kind of made it a little bit harder on everyone, in my opinion. So they buffed some of the stats so like your crew would lose heart quicker, they would lose morale quicker if you didn't have guns equipped. That was the big change. And they probably changed some other little parameters, made it more random the way what the AI would do. I'm not for sure. I've only boarded 2 ships since the patch. They were both of the traders. My trader Snows. I captured those. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to give you a little basic information, show you some things. We're gonna utilize that NA map Netflippy, and we'll see if you can go out and maybe be a little bit more informed on how to do things and maybe have some success boarding. Because I'm not having, I've been successful, but it's despite my failings. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to cover is how prepared are you and your ship for boarding? If you go up here to the perks, and we're going to view all, like which one of these perks helps you in boarding? Are you running it? Most people, they want to run gunnery and like penetration, or if they want to like have a good sailing ship, they'll select one of these maneuver perks, speed fixes. But you get down here, bravery increases some combat parameters if outnumbered. Only works if your team's BR is significantly lower than the opposing team's BR. Privateer, here we go. Improves your boarding capabilities, grants extra module drops from PvP, and prevents enemy boarding if they have fewer crew members than you. Crew difference for boarding, they have to have 20% more. Additional module drop PvP, +1. Higher enemy crew, +5%. Enemy morale damage, +5%. See, this is one you need to have in your, any of these other ones? So what are you running as far as perks? A lot of players, they'll set that first set of perks and then just leave it. And then other players, well, every time they go out, if they're going out to do a port battle, they have a certain set of perks they're going to do. If they're going to go do cargo runs and kind of crafting stuff, they have another set of perks they're going to. So they'll reset and they'll reset and they'll reset their perks to make the most effectiveness of their character in the game. So perks, take time to consider that some. The other thing is what modules are you running on the ship? And what books are you running? So to look, I don't have any, I have like one module that I've captured, one upgrade that I've captured right here. Reinforced sails small. Sail. Hit points 5%. Reinforced sails. Heavier canvas improves durability, making sails more resistant to damage. I have not gotten any. There are plenty of boarding mods out there, and there are plenty of boarding books. And that's what a successful boarder in the game will do: is he'll set his ship up. If he knows he's going to go out and be a boarder, he'll set his ship up to have the optimum ability to do that stuff. And that comes through your upgrades and your knowledge slots. Now you can change the knowledge slots whenever you want. You can change whatever you put in here as long as you have the book for it. These upgrades, once you put them on, they're there permanent. And to get it off, you got to destroy the upgrade. I believe that's still the fashion. So, how is your ship equipped? So we're going to take a little pause here, and I'm going to bring up the Netflixy map. Okay, so here we are in the Naval Action Map 2, and like, let's go here, and we can look at modules. Boarding. Marines. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that the AI is always going to have Marines on board, and that gives them an advantage. You can see what they do. So when you find the Marines books, you definitely want to learn them because they give you a buff. Firearms, muskets, and here's the modifier there. Melee weapons, cutlasses, pikes. Okay, these are all uh, they're all upgrades that you're going to capture off of ships, off of AI ships as loot in the future. So a lot of people, they just sell these and throw them away, because I'm never going to use this. But these help you if you're going to be a guy that does a lot of boarding. So you want to have these on your ship if possible. Here are crew. These are the boarding ones. These are the categories for the boarding. So we got crew gunnery, firearms, and melee weapons. And so you can see, spend some time here, review the categories, and select what you want for your ship. Now there's ship knowledge, boarding, the Book of Five Rings. That's one of those super books that you can craft. It takes several books, and then you make like an encyclopedia type book. And this is the buffs that it gives you for all the different phases of the boarding process. Melee attack, melee defense, muskets accuracy, preparation, ship height penalty reduction. Like if your ship is small and you're attacking a big ship, there's a penalty that you're facing in the battle. The Book of the Void, the Fire Book, the Ground Book, the Water Book, the Wind Book. These are the books individually that make up the Book of Five Rings. So when you find these books out in the world, you want to save them, and then when you get all five, you'll be able to craft them into the Book of Five Rings. And then later on, as you find these individually, go ahead and then learn them. Then you can put it on ships individually if you want. But see, all of this in one book, or you can have 5 separate ones. So that's what these encyclopedias do. It takes 5 books, all the benefits, and it puts it in one slot. So then you can use the other slots of learning for other things like crew management, survival stuff, ship trim. So there's boarding benefits in these ship trims, privateer trim. This is a boarding one. So what you equip your ship with, as far as books and upgrade slots, will heavily weight the fight into your favor. And that's why there are players in the game that's pretty much all they do is they board other ships. And they get all of these, you know, they get the Book of Five Rings and all of these other books and knowledge, and they load it on there in the perfect structure to give them the absolute most OP, overpowered boarding abilities. That's why sometimes you'll meet a player in the PvP and he won't bother getting in a gun. He's going to come right in. He's going to get you turned in the wind and board you. You know, the most he might do is fire some chain at you to slow you down because your sails get super damaged, and then he's going to swoop in, get you stuck in the wind, and board you. That's how they like, because they want your ship. They want what's in the hold. If they sink you, they may not be able to take everything that you have in the hold. If they capture you, they get everything that's in the hold, and your ship, and your cannons, and your powder, and your ball. They get everything. So that's why people turned to boarding when the cannon cost was so shocking to everyone. So this is good. This is like a good reference for you. Come here, spend some time, look at what you think you need. Marines is always a good one to have. It gives you a benefit. They have different level muskets and melee. It's just these things give you benefits and help you boarding, and it's like it's all a battle of the soft stats. What perks do you have that outweigh what they have? PvP or PvE. Like if you're attacking an AI, he's going to have, what is he going to have on? He's going to have Marines for sure, but what else is he going to have on there? So you want the whole idea of a boarding action, in my view, is you want to have an unfair fight. You don't want to attack a ship that has a bigger crew than you because that's a steeper, more risky situation. You want less risk. That's what it's about. Less risk to you, more ease in beating the enemy. That's why, have more crew, be fully prepared, and then with luck, things will go well. So these things help you. They make you better. See if any of these other ones. That's a nice one there. Hammocks, they give you like a crew number bonus, so you have extra guys. That's always good. So spend some time on this, researching the various books and modules. That way, in the future, you can set up your ship to be a powerhouse boarder. But here you are, you're at the low end. My advice initially, if you don't have any of the modules and you don't have any of the books, is to always make sure you have at least an equal crew, preferably more crew, and you are 100% prepared before you press that G key. As long as your preparation is higher than his and you got more crew, I feel that you have a good chance. Now let's look at another thing here real quick. So I'm going to transition. Okay, here I've done a search on Google, Naval Action Boarding. This image comes up. It's a flow chart showing you the relationship between, these are the 6 choices: musket, deck fire, grenades, defend, attack, counterattack, and brace. Those are your 6 choices during the boarding action. And this little spaghetti chart here, flow chart, shows you the relationships between the various choices. It's color coded for low effect to extra high effect. So if you know that they're in grenades, you want to be in attack because that's the best possible effect against grenades. If you know they're in defend, you don't want to be in counterattack. You want to be in musket, deck fire, or grenades because that's a high effect against defend. If you know they're in brace, you want to be in counterattack or grenades because that's a good effect against brace, not deck fire, not muskets. So the effectiveness of one against the other is something you need to spend time and familiarize yourself with. And the other thing is the costs. Every time you click a button, your preparation drops. Drops a, if you select brace, it doesn't do anything. But if you select any one of these other choices, these other 5 choices, it affects your preparation, makes it go down. And some attack, counterattack makes it go down a lot. And then defend and musket make it go down just a little. So that's something you have to mind during the battle is how low is your preparation getting? How and what affects your morale is how many people die. If you lose a lot of guys, your morale drops a certain percentage. If you lose just a few guys and they lose a lot of guys, your morale stays where it's at. It stays good. I don't know if it goes up. I don't think so. I pretty much think that it's just the result of the battle. If it's more in their favor, you're going to lose a couple morale points. And that's the game. You want to keep your morale high, your preparation more than theirs, and then make the right choices. And eventually their morale is going to get so low that when you click attack, you'll win. So take a little time, search on the Google, and you'll find a chart like this, and you can study it and learn the relationship between the various choices. Because you can see what they did the last turn. And so from that and from your choice the last turn, you can know that the AI is going to switch to the best choice against your choice on the last turn. So what you want to do is guess it, figure out what they're going to do and then choose the best thing against that. You know, that's that's the game part of it. So highly recommend you spend a little time looking at one of these charts and learn the relationships between the buttons, their effects, and their costs. I can guarantee you that a PvP player knows all of this. What's best against what. And the way they're telling what you do is they're watching your preparation bar. Because when you select something, your preparation is going to drop. If it drops a lot, they know you chose attack. If it drops just a little bit, they're assuming that you musket or defend, so they're going to choose the best thing against that, or at least something equal. So that's experience that they have that you don't have. Take some time, learn the relationships of these things and their costs, and hopefully it will help you when you board. Okay, so here we are back in port, and I've covered some informational points on how you should possibly outfit your ship, and try to show you the relationships between the various buttons in battle. And now it's time for me to go out and I'll find a ship, and then I'll try to demonstrate the process. I cannot guarantee it's going to be a good example, but we'll give it a shot. So we'll be right back. Okay, here we are. Managed to tag a trader's brig. See what happens. Gonna load chain first because they're gonna run. Traders run. Knocked him down to 79% there, so I'm gonna go ahead and load ball on the left side. Okay, his bow and stern armor are gone. Gonna load grape. He's only got 50 crew. I don't know if I'm going to use grape. Chaining me. Problem is how do I get across his rear without having him slip away here? See if he'll turn for me. Now we're just going to go ahead and prep for boarding. Now if you look, I've turned off the cannon reload. I want to get as much crew on boarding as possible. So I'm at 100% prep now. Before with the cannon reload it was like 68. That was the max crew I could get on it. They always seem to run to shore too. That's kind of bogus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to come up alongside of them and then get to his front and kind of just angle him a little bit more into the wind, and then he'll become stuck. That was actually not a smart move to cross behind him like that and get so slow. Okay, now he's turning away. He's going to get stuck. So you just want to kind of cruise up behind him here. Deep power to slow down. Get the G key, pull him in. Okay, see the counter? It's counting down. He's at 40 preparation. See, it always gives you musket volley first. You fire deck guns. Okay. I can't say that was a stellar performance, but you can see that I switched from musket volley to defend, and he had fire deck guns on, so fire deck guns does good against musket volley, I guess. I don't know. That was a bad choice. He was on fire deck guns. Last second choice, I made attack. He was in brace. That was a good choice. He was still in brace. I did fire grenades. He was on defense. That was an okay choice. And by this point, his preparation is down low. I chose to go counterattack. I did attack. He did counterattack. It was a wash. He had to go to brace because by this point, when he went to counterattack, it chewed up a lot of his preparation points. So he went to brace to earn more points. I stayed in attack. And then after that, his morale collapsed. And there we go. You want to see what you got here? X. It's pretty good stuff. It's all usable stuff. So, if I had enough hold space, I could take all this in my hold and sink it. Or you can transfer crew to it. So I'm going to give him 20 guys. Click confirm. Let's look at what kind of ship it is. It's a gray trader's brig, so nothing special. No upgrades. Fur, fur. So it's fast, at least. Click confirm. He's now got a French flag. Then you can click escape port, or you can leave the battle. So here we are in the open world, and I don't know if this is the glitch or not, but see, I had plenty of available crew, and then as soon as we got into the open world, it just automatically loaded these guys to the max. See, I'm using 205 of my and I still have another 187 free guys. So I think this is like, I don't know if it's a bug or not. It's just like I put only 20 guys on here, and then as soon as I got in the open world, it staffed them fully from my available crew. So we're going to go ahead and sail back to Nassau, and I'm going to unload the cargo and strip the cannons off and try to sell the ship. Now you'll see that I'm not going to sit here and say I made the best choices during that battle. You know, I'm not experienced at boarding. I'm not good at it. But the thing is I had more guys than him. I had a higher preparation level. And even if you make a wrong choice and you lose a lot of guys, and I did in one of those choices, and you can overcome it. You can overcome mistakes by slanting the battle in your favor by the prior choices you make, you know. So you can win these, but to my knowledge, there's no set order to the AIs. There used to be a predictable path they would follow. They would do this, then they would do this, then they would do this, and you knew it was coming, and so you had a pattern that you would always run, and it would always seem to work. I don't think it's like that now. It's more random. You know, back in the past, I hardly ever experienced the AI doing counterattack unless I was truly in a bad spot and they knew and had time to select their choice. So I don't know if you want to like rewind and go back and watch my selections. You know, think about, watch their preparation bar drop. You know, a PvP player is going to see that preparation bar drop so many points, and they're going to know exactly what you chose because they got that experience. I don't have that experience. You know, a lot of times I'm like, should I do this? Should I do that? And meantime, you got all that noise playing in your ears. That's not to give you like a feel, like an ambience to the game. That's to confuse you. You know, there's racket and noise, and there's a timer counting down, and you're looking at this. What should I do? They're trying to trick you into making the wrong choice. That's how I feel about it. So if I had my druthers, I would just think, I'm not going to take somebody on that's like equal crew or greater crew than me. I'm always going to have the advantage in crew, and I definitely want the advantage in preparation because that goes a long way to outlasting my bad selections during the actual boarding event. So I'm not sure this example is going to help you or not, but it's there. Okay, here we are back in port. Got the trader's brig tagging along here. So let's send to docks. And we'll double click on that. Now here's a little information. Trader's Brig has 15 slots, has 900 is the capacity. There's an extra 90 on here because I have that merchant perk that gives you 10% increase in your hold. That's why it says 990, but it's actually 900. Now, in the old iteration of the game, this Trader's Brig, I think, was up like at 1750, and then the Snow was the Trader's Snow had the smaller hold, like 900. So they've reworked the hold sizes, so this is no longer the best shallow water hauler. I guess that title now goes to the Galleon. I don't know what the hold size is on that, so we're gonna move all this goodies into our. Oh, that's not that's tobacco. Okay, I can use that to make provisions. Got some saltpeter. We'll add that. Lignum vitae log. That's always nice to get. And iron ore is always welcome. So it has 16 4-pound medium guns. We'll add that to the warehouse. Now I find when you move guns around, go ahead and drop them in an open slot and then move them onto the pile. Because if you just drop it right on the pile, it's like it swaps. So what is in the pile tries to load to where you took it from. So I'm getting me quite a collection of 4-pounders. I might need to sell some of them. So how do you sell a ship? I got this thing down here, the ship auction. And you can search by rank. I think this is a rank 6. Search. You can also do port of sale, current port. Search. So this is what's for sale here right now. People are capping some ships out there. Look at the prices. Okay, here's the first Trader's Brig. Actually, let's just select the ship. Let's narrow this down, because what I'm trying to do is I want to see what these are selling for. So the highest price is 70, and the lowest current price is 20,999. These are all blues and greens. I got a crappy gray. Now I could sell this to the Admiralty. I believe it's this button here. If I just sold this to the Admiralty, I would get 903 reals. That's no bueno. I could break it up. But I want to, I mean, if that's the lowest current price, let's go ahead to auction. Minimum price is 903. Enter price, I'll say 15. That's a full 6,000 reals lower than anyone else. Yes, it's gray, but it's a fur. It's fast. I don't see what any rank bonuses. I mean, it's a trade ship. So let's put it on sale and see what happens. Confirm. And there we go. We'll get an email saying if you successfully put Trader's Brig on sale in Nassau for 15,000 reals. Okay, so that's nice. Delete. This message will stay here. And then when you see this light up again in the future, hopefully I will have sold it. But there you go. That's why people were capping ships. You get cannons off of them. You I imagine out in the world, they're in the PvP world, they're capping AI ships, and I guess there's doubloons on them, and there's better loot in the holds. Here at the green zone, they are just giving you like basic materials that you can craft into stuff. Maybe an upgrade or two, nothing fancy. It's out in the open world, in the PvP world. I believe the rewards are getting better. You know, I haven't seen a book so far. I'm gonna do some more fights tonight and tomorrow and through the weekend. The idea is to unbox the links and then get rid of it, and then to unbox the Cerberus and to stack doubloons for when it comes time to choose where I'm going to set up my open world activities. But upon review of that boarding action, I thought for sure that because I was on musket volley, that they were going to do counterattack because they were so counterattack centrist. They focused on that in all the other battles I've done. It's always been. So I went ahead and then when they did fire deck guns and killed 23 of my guys, well, that was a shock. And so that kind of threw me off a little bit. So how do you react to that? That they chose fire deck guns. So what do you choose next? That's the struggle. I thought for sure they were going to counterattack into my musket volley. They didn't do that. They fired deck guns. So that kind of threw me into a little bit of confusion. And that's the whole purpose of that. Those noises and the timer. And when something happens that you don't expect, now you're confused and what do I do? And that's why boarding is difficult. Once you figure out your methods and the way you're going to go with it, you're going to be fine. My recommendations are three of them. Equip your ship and your perks. If you're going to do boarding, do the best possible boarding setup you can. Now, not everybody's got access to books. You will find books later. You got to get out in the open world and sync AI and players to get books, I believe. You're not going to get them in the shallow water zone. They're going to give you minuscule rewards. At least not that I've seen. That my opinion might change here in a day or two once I start actually going out and sinking stuff. But equip your ship as best as you can for boarding if you know you're going to do boarding. Always pick an unfair fight to your advantage. A fair fight or an unfair fight in their advantage, that's a mistake. And when it's how you do the action, the fight, what you do, whether you chain his sails or not, whether you knock down his armor and then try to grape the crew down, that's you can do that. Or you can just prep, sail at him, get him in the wind, and board him. You can do it any way you want. But however you choose to do it, my recommendation is have fully prepared your people. You want to be on full prep. That way, as long as you got more crew and better prep, I firmly believe you can outlast pretty much anyone, even if you make mistakes like I did. My first choice was a mistake, and I paid for it. But after that, I was able to stabilize and then erode his guys down. So this was my boarding tutorial. I'm sure it's not the best out there. It's not even close, but it is the newest. So thank you for watching.